I mean, if they ask us to paint it, will we paint it? Yeah, we'll do it. But
I would
real,
tell them
real,
no.
real sad eyes. Like, no, you're gonna have to find another. You're gonna have to find another contractor to do that.
I feel like they know better though. They
Yeah,
wouldn't want that painted, would they?
no, yeah.
And we're back on the Ohio Painting Company podcast with very pixelated Kevin Silliman out in the field and Nick Goebel back at the OPC headquarters. I wanted to talk about repeat customers, and Kev, you love the idea so much. You went to a repeat customer's house, and is it a house or a business?
It is house.
It is a house. Okay, very cool. I mean, it's a pretty sweet looking house. I mean, did he want to go for the color that blended straight into the trees? I love it.
That's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty spectacular. So I mean, with the whole repeat customer thing, I wanted to learn more. I edit a podcast and they were talking about this with pest and lawn. You know, it's easy to find repeat customers because you need your grass mowed every single week. You don't need your house painted every single week. So it's kind of a different story. Obviously, it's a whole different world when you're talking about customer base, if they're one timers or if they're going to keep calling you back to come do more. So, I mean, whoever wants to take it off the bat here, feel free. But what's it like with repeat customers? How often do you see these people?
Yeah, if we do our job right, why would we need to come back and do more painting? It's because literally everything in your life, aside from electronics, has paint on it, and and not everybody has all the money in the world to get everything painted and maintained at the same time. So yeah, where your grass is growing and needs to be cut every week, you don't need a paint job every week. But if you move into a house, your trends have a tendency to last about 10 years, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer.
Tell that to my wife.
I think we talked. Yeah, we we talked about. I think it was just a conversation you, Kevin, and I had. But it's like if you look at a picture of somebody now versus a picture of somebody like back in the mid 90s, you're going to have a hard time differentiating with technology and photos, unless it's a Polaroid picture. It's like you're wearing a shirt with an undershirt and a hat. So guess what? We've been wearing that since like the 80s.
Right.
So some styles stick around and sometimes some go away. But when it comes to decorating, a lot of them, yeah, they anywhere between 5 and 15 years. So long game is, I mean, we've been around since 2011. I've been in the paint industry since 2006. Working for working in the stores group at Sherwin-Williams and moving up through them, and then Kevin's been painting since the 80s. So there's a lot of time in there. So yeah, it's repeat customers are ones that haven't checked all the boxes on their want to do list, and you can't blow everything everywhere. So pick and choose what's your budget going to be for this year. What changes do you want? Is the dining room color that our customer picked that it was super trendy with their wainscoting back in 5 years ago? Is that burnt orange still a thing, or did she change a couch in a room and she wants it painted? I just made that scenario up, but it's
No, it makes sense though.
But it sounds so specific. I got this fly flying around me back here. But I mean, like, that's a scenario that happens all the time. And then again, we talked, I think, last episode. Well, we were talking about warranties and exterior painting, and but not everybody gets the entire house painted. Sometimes it's they choose us over another company, and we happen to be 25% or 30% more than the other company. They really wanted to go with us. They don't have a budget for it. We might do two sides of the house done right in a year, then come back. And if things go well on that project, which they do, but then we'll come back and paint the other two sides of our house. Then it might be the garage. Then there's the deck. The decks in Ohio last at a maximum of 4 years.
Right.
And a lot of times they don't, they look okay, but they don't look great after 4 years. They got to be redone continuously. And then businesses and everything else. The nature of life is, what change is inevitable, right? So anyhow, the goal is for us to be here and fill that void and make sure that, anytime you need a paint job done that we're around for, whether that's to serve the warranty or that's, for your next project, or you hate the colors on your house, and yeah, and we just need to be there.
Kev, I'm not gonna lie. This looks like police body cam footage of like a raid that's gonna be happening soon. Like, I have a feeling somebody's gonna pop out of that house and start firing weapons at you here in a minute. You're gonna have to retreat back to the OPC Bronco that's sitting in the driveway. Good stuff. But just looking at that house while you were walking around, it was awesome. The color that you did the exterior, right?
Yeah, we did the exterior. Now we're working on the front door. We've got to strip both sides of it. It's actually an old kind of a horse door. It's got two pieces to it. The top and bottom both open up individually. And then, yeah, just actually talked with Cindy and Mark, and we'll be back inside to do the interior. So, again, just on the repeat customers, it just seemed to be a really good location anyway, since I was headed this way. And
the job that he's at, though, is, it really is the perfect example for repeat customers, is because that is, when you get out there, it's a larger house and it's in the middle of the woods. And what happened, like when you're not getting direct sunlight, there's always moisture prevalent. Things don't dry out as fast. So, it's a wooden house, so it's got to be taken care of. So we did the overhaul, but now it's going to need to be maintained. And
Right.
Not every side of that house is going to, in a perfect scenario, yeah, it'd all be great. But the backside of the house up against the woods, moisture is going to be higher back there. Things are going to dry out slower, and that's going to need maintenance. And then they've got a huge, gorgeous inside, and and so hopefully they're not having us back to paint a bunch of gorgeous woodwork. Hopefully it's just to clean it up, and there's some work that just looks, it's so ugly you can't save it. I mean, I see a lot of stain jobs from the 80s, and then like, what were they thinking with some of these orange colors that they were using? I mean, I know there's shellac orange, and that was pretty popular, but I mean, like, seeing some crazy orange stain on pine, and pine's graining isn't really necessarily that appealing to me. It doesn't have the grain movement that poplar and hickory, or the depth of it, but still, some of these old rooms, like that house, though, they've got an oak library that is just absolutely gorgeous. It's stunning. It's dark, and gosh, I hope. I mean, if they ask us to paint it, will we paint it? Yeah, we'll do it.
I would tell them no.
Real sad eyes. Like, no, you're gonna have to find another. You're gonna have to find another contractor to do that.
I feel like they know better though. They wouldn't want that painted, would
no,
they?
yeah. Again, that's the problem with painting that gorgeous woodwork, is talk about trends coming and going, and who knows how long painted woodwork is going to be in, because that's the thing about trends. It's like, we're never moving back from here. It's always like, it's either going to be this good or it's going to get better. It's like, no, we are now, the industrial look, or the contemporary look is, blend a little bit of the old with the new. But like, what are they doing with the old? We're going back to reclaimed wood. I mean, we're taking like wood from old tobacco farms and stuff like that, and we're utilizing on the projects, and then it's right up against like beautifully white crisp wall with lacquered shelves and everything else. So I mean, that's the nature of I mean, what we want as people. We, although we like stability, we seek change, and we want that next change, and we just never see ourselves going back. So we painted their wood rooms, and it just felt like sin. Did it turn out gorgeous in the end? Yes, but I just hate the cover that old workmanship, and you just see a lot of intricate like dental molding and carving and wood that you don't find anymore anywhere. And even if it's it's hard to find. So shame to cover it up sometimes, but yeah, you pay us enough, we'll come out and do that.
There you go. I'll tell you what, the sunlight is oversaturating my face like crazy. I'm trying to like put my hat down a little bit because I look crazy. I moved my office completely, right? It's this new house we got on the ocean. It sucks. We're moving out of this piece of shit place.
The ocean in Arizona, right?
That's right. Anyway, what do you guys have going on like kind of a media side of things? Obviously I do what I do. I spread some word around when I can, but are you guys utilizing email to push out to former customers and be like, hey, we can come back out and check a few things out if you want?
We're starting to roll that out. I mean, we all get blasted with email from everybody. I mean, I'm reluctant to give my email address. until I hear that I can save 10%. And then I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And then I change my mind and now I'm on their mailing address forever. So I mean, like we talk within the office and in our meetings about how we don't want to blast anybody. But we are trying to do that because again, paint and work is not the most fun work to have done. But we want to be, if we didn't leave you wowed by a project we were on, or we did, and just things fell to the wayward, you got a project. I mean, sometimes those little emails serve as reminders. I know they do for me also. Most of them are annoying. Hopefully we never find ourselves in the classification of being annoying like that. And we're really trying trying to be more informative than anything. But yeah, and whatever we speak to, we just found that, if we speak to specifically what we aspire to do with our customers and from projects to customer service and how it's handled and the timing of everything. And we not dictate, but we speak to the type of customers that we want within the office and use that, that language and speak directly to our customer. Then they do like manna from heaven. I mean, like they'll call, they'll reach out, and even in Dayton where we've got a pretty strong market share in Dayton, but we continue to grow right here in our hometown. And as we continue our growth in Cincinnati and Columbus, and overwhelmingly, it's how complicated is painting. I mean, it really isn't. We were talking last episode about just roller in a bucket, put the paint on the wall.
Right,
How complicated is it? But the dance of it all, especially when you're in the middle of a living room where that family goes and they recede to that living room every night for TV night, board game night, dinners, whatever else, to be able to get out of their hair and return that back to them in a timely fashion, but still deliver excellence. Is it's simple, but in a chaotic world where it just seems like you got to pull teeth to get anything that you want anywhere. It's nice to have. We aspire to do that. We do deliver on that, and it makes us excited to get feedback from our customers to say, that their perspective on just having a paint job has been changed. It's an experience like anything else, and they want it to be as pleasant as possible, and that's our goal.
And there's a great opportunity for those who may not understand the world of paying for paint. Obviously, WiseTac and the Ohio Painting Company have teamed up to offer 12 months of no interest financing for those who want their house painted. So that really does take a big monkey off the back when it comes down to wanting to get your house painted, especially if they're in a pinch. If they want to get it done before the holidays. I'm assuming now's the time, right?
Yeah, now is the time to get on for the holidays, and it solves a large thing that comes up often. I mean, we get calls from potential customers that they might be our customer in 5 years. They just haven't gone through enough bad experience, or they haven't saved up enough money. They thought this room is going to cost $300. But that room is mostly wood and stained wood and needs to be converted. And what they thought from their internet search might be $300. Turns out with us it's $1,200. And you know what? They might have $450 in the bank, but they don't have $1,250. But if they're responsible and they have that track record and they want to move forward with our company, now we've got a way, and it's going to cost them just as much as for 12 months as like their internet bill might be, and it takes care of that project for them, and it's done right, and they don't have to go back and redo it, and they can use that room without treating it like it's a china doll and being very delicate. They can actually live in it and enjoy it, and know that it's got our backing behind it.
I'm wondering about maybe repeat customers that you didn't necessarily think that you would have to have as a repeat customer. Have you ever had anybody that's like, I made a huge mistake, I hate this color, please come do it again?
Really does not come up. Like it has, but I'm struggling to even think of an example of that. I can think of absolutely just one. Okay, and this comes down to a lot of people will try to wash their hands of any liability, and we try to give our customers as much of a chance and forewarning to pick out their colors and look at it. And we've got a lot of tools and resources that we can offer for them to help themselves, or where we'll step in and try to help. And, I'm glad to lend my opinion. I feel like I talk myself into these holes. So it's like me trying to talk myself out of my thought process. It just takes a lot of words, and most of them are unnecessary. But you ask me my opinion, I'm going to give it to you. And Kevin's very much the same way, and Devon is here in the office. But ultimately, the customer is liable for the colors that they pick, and it gets really tricky with blues and greens and the undertones of blues and greens. So the example of us going back, we painted a house last year. She picked out a green. She was out of town. She was in love with it on the swatch. And so guess what? We went out, confirmed it, sent her pictures and everything, and picked it. She got back home and she absolutely hated it. It wasn't a bad green, but it was more vibrant than what she had expected. And it's not that it looked bad, but it was her taste, and it wasn't to her taste. It was like, you get it outside, you go from looking at a color on a swatch and this little 1 inch by a 1.5 inch swatch.
You can't tell what that looks like
inside your house. You can't broadcast it. You can try to visualize it. So she called when she got back in town, and we'd finished the projects and she'd paid for it. We did everything right. But she just really was upset. And like, and this was last fall. It's like, so right now we're going into winter and we have to get things done. But if you can hang on with us, we'll come back out and figure out what cost is. And we don't want to make a dime on it. We just want you to be happy. And so, I think, we kept the receipts, provided those to her. We changed the color on the house, paid our guys, because we always pay our guys, no matter what, as they deliver what we promise. I mean, they are the hands of delivery. So paid our guys, and then she paid for the paint, and then and she got her house painted in the colors she actually liked. And you know what? We're back painting her interior. She's got another room that she wants done. We'll be back. We're heading back over there. I'm not sure when it's on the schedule. I never really know where we are until I talk to Mike, because he's got his hands all over that. But that's just how did it cost her more to get her house painted? Yeah, but we didn't make any more off of it, and it wasn't necessarily. But we wanted to help, and we'll continue to do her painting, and she just continues to be happy, and just try to keep like fifth grade, or not fifth grade, kindergarten. Treat people like you want to be treated to the best of your ability and what you can offer. So anyhow, no, that was a great customer.
There you go. I'm not too sure if Kevin being at the repeat customer's house worked out the way we wanted it to. Hopefully we can get some pictures for you guys to pop up in place of Kevin's police body cam footage. He's actually trying to call me right now, but I'm not going to be able to pick it up until we wrap up.
Yeah, it's tough. Some of these houses that we are at are, I mean, if they're neat and they're like a fairy tale land, yeah, they're out there in the woods. So you might have bad service on top of all the trees being around, and that's probably part of what they love about living out there. If their cell phones don't work, then hey, it's not me. It's not that I don't want to answer your phone call. It's just where I live.
Yeah.
Like, what a great excuse to live by, huh?
Yep. I love it. Nick Goebel on the Ohio Painting Company podcast. We're going to wrap up a little bit early, but I want to thank you for jumping back on, talking about repeat customers. And if you've had the Ohio Painting Company out, they're not a one-time deal. Give them a call again. They'll come out, and I'm assuming free estimates once again, even for round 2.
Yeah. Round 2, round 3, round 5, round 16. Yeah, just call us, get on the schedule. We're in the area anyways, whether it's Cincinnati or Dayton, we're always out on the road. So happy to look at it and give you our honest take.
Also, visit ohiopainting.com. You'll be able to fill out some forms to let the Ohio Painting Company know what you need and when you need it, and get information on WiseTech financing as well, so you can spread those payments out over the course of a year with no interest. Nick, thanks so much for coming on. We'll talk to you next week.
Right on, brother. Thank you. See ya.